I know a lot of people start to homestead when they have young kids. And I am beginning this adventure with a very direct correlation to a certain time in my life, which is actually perimenopause. And it seems like this is something that we are not talking about a lot. It is sort of this invisible time in a woman's life. We tend to celebrate the beginning of menses, the time when we start to bleed. There's a lot of connection with the moon, the different phases of our cycle with the different phases of the moon. And there's also a really beautiful honoring and wisdom that comes with menopause. But perimenopause is very hidden. It's very invisible. And so for me, as my fertility is starting to change, my cycles are changing, and I'm very aware that I won't be having more babies. That time in my life is coming to an end. And so there's also this, there's less hustle, there's less need to prove. And so this sort of invisible time has really led me to this creation of the garden, planting. There's a very clear, obvious metaphor with the seeds, planting the seeds and growing something. So as my body is no longer able to do that, it is now, but it's, I can feel it waning, then I'm taking that and I'm putting that somewhere else. I think that's a great metaphor, isn't it? This homestead journey is also something that's deeply connective for Dave and I. It's something that we're doing together, that we have a shared vision for, that we're both learning from each other. With the perimenopause and this invisible time, this time that we don't talk about, we don't share, we don't really, there's a lot of physical symptoms happening in my body, and the more I can be outside, the more I can be touching earth, hands in earth. My hands are dirty all the time. The vitamin D on my skin. Also going out, when we had the chicken and we have dogs, going out in the winter, being outside no matter what the weather is, because you have something to tend to. My hope is to have a winter garden so that I'm continuing to move my body and to feel earth no matter what season that we're in. That is having a direct effect on some of the physical symptoms of the perimenopause. And then the emotional piece of it, the emotional side of coming to terms with that part of your life, coming to terms with, thinking that, so my bleed went from about 3.5 days down to 1. And that was incredibly jarring for my system. I cried a lot, and I cried a lot partly because there's just emotions everywhere, but I cried a lot because the thought that soon I won't have that bleed. And I thought a lot about the garden. I kept thinking about the garden. I kept thinking about sacred rituals. I kept thinking about rituals with blood, how there are many people and places who offer menstrual blood to gardens, to plants, things like that. And if that disturbs you and upsets you, I know that was tough for Dave to even hear and think about, but just spend some time with that. Why wouldn't that be something to honor? Why wouldn't that be a way that we honor this incredible, rhythm that we have monthly of our bodies? And so I just started to feel very sad that might be ending soon. And that energy grew this garden. That energy became this farm. There's an absolute connection there. Do I wish I had done this with young kids? I think it would have been wonderful, but that's not how my life played out. My life played out that, after I got divorced and met Dave, and we came together as a family, we have been going through iteration after iteration of self. We are both such different human beings. We've done a lot of therapy. We've worked really hard to heal our wounds. We've overcome codependency. That was brutal. And we've learned how to have a family that's blended. We do offer this garden experience to the kids. We offer the chicken experience. Hopefully we'll have goats. We'll offer that experience. You know, they're welcome to help us. Mostly they're teenagers who aren't interested, but they all have little bits and pieces that they are willing to work on with us. And maybe it's just that right now they eat some fresh food right from the earth, right from their yard that day, like that night, or they wander out and eat a cucumber after school. That's enough for me right now. You know, that's enough. We've always grown. We've always had something growing, but we've never had this ability to grow our own food in this, with this capacity before. So this is brand new experience for all of us. So yeah, sometimes it feels like, you know, there's so many younger mothers and younger kids who are on this adventure, but I have a feeling that there are a lot of women like me at the age I am. I'm 46, I'll be 47 in September, who are going through this change, who are going through perimenopause, and they're looking at their life and they're saying, okay, something new is coming, something more is coming for me. I am in a new rhythm of life. And I think you're out there, and I think you're planting gardens too. I think you're growing food too. I think you're digging in the earth. And maybe your creation looks a little bit different. Maybe your creation is more in the kitchen. Maybe you're starting to cook for the first time, or maybe you're learning about new foods. Maybe your creativity is coming through in a whole other way. But I have a feeling that this group of us, this group of invisible women, I feel like we're getting our hands dirty. And that's my hope, is that I can offer that to you, that I can say, hey, you can start anytime. I'm 46 and I'm beginning a homestead now. Right now, it's the best time. Right now is the best time. All right, I'm sending love. Mwah. I appreciate you.